So today I'm going to be talking about the approach to the Super Bowl or the big game in general. There's basically two main approaches to working at a big event, whether it be a Super Bowl, a World Championship, whatever the case may be, the Olympics. And one school of thought is that you should approach the game like any other game. The field's still 100 yards long, still 11 men on each side, all the conditions are the same. And so the idea is just to approach it as you would any other game. The other approach is it's going to be the most wild, chaotic, out of control environment you've ever been in. And so just be prepared for whatever comes up. What I've experienced, having been with a lot of performers before they sort of step onto that stage, whatever the stage is for them, is that they can be a wreck right beforehand. And if they're believing that they need to be calm, cool, and collected when they step out on the field, then they can really get tripped up in having this, they're focused on trying to get themselves where they should be rather than focused on what they're going to go do in their performance. And so I actually favor the second approach of preparing as if it's going to be out of control, chaos, wild environment, like nothing you've ever experienced before. There's a few reasons. One I just shared is that that's the experience of a lot of people when they get there anyways. The second is that by definition, the one where you really want it to work, whether it's the Super Bowl, the World Championship, the Olympics, or whatever, by definition, they don't come around very often, and actually not even everybody gets that opportunity. So it's really an impossible scenario to prepare for. So if it happens that you show up calm, cool, and collected on that particular day and you can just go play your game, great, go enjoy it. If that's your experience, you're one of a kind, and hey, go at it. But for the rest of us, we really kind of need to be able to recognize that the fact that it's so important to us, that we prepared for so long and that the outcome is uncertain, as it always is when you're at that level of competition, anxiety is going to show up, nervousness is going to show up, a lot of stuff is going to show up. And probably it's going to show up in ways that you haven't been able to experience before, you haven't been able to practice, you haven't been able to prepare for. And if you're okay with all that stuff showing up and knowing that you can still focus, you can still put your attention where it needs to be on the task at hand and go perform, that's a lot more reliable, a lot more sturdy of a framework that you can approach that scenario. You can actually train yourself to create this separation, and the idea that's really powerful is that you are not your thoughts. Again, a lot of times we identify with our thinking mind, this voice that's jabbering on in our head all the time. But if we can recognize that most of what that voice is saying are just sort of random occurrences that our neurons pop off for whatever reason, if you can start to recognize that, then that gives you some space between realizing that you don't need to have a particular thought, you don't need to have a particular feeling state, to be able to put your mind, put your attention where it needs to be and focus on the task at hand. If you can create that space, then you can reliably or more reliably enter into a place where you can remain task focused and be able to engage in productive and effective actions, behaviors, to be able to survive and thrive in those environments where everything might feel like it's going out of control, including your mind and emotions, and yet you can still focus on the behaviors that you need to engage in to be successful.